Since the dawn of mankind, there has been a tapestry of cultures and beings that call Hyur's home. Of these myriads of intelligent creatures, there is one race that has spread further than any other. The Hyur. From the enigmatic Far East, across the star to the mysterious New World, the Hyur have proven themselves to be a resilient and dominating species, able to adapt to change on a dime and grow in population to outpace all other races of the star. Today we'll be exploring the history of the Hyur, who they are, and the various forms they come in. My name is Juliet, and this is the Eorzean Historian. Like many of the races we know today, the lineage of the Hyur can be traced back to the beginnings of prehistory at the dawn of the First Umbral Era nearly 12,000 years ago. Over the course of thousands of years, the Hyur saw three great migratory waves, though the exact movement of these waves is up for debate. The one thing we can be certain of is these waves began around Eorzean, and by the end of them, the Hyur had dotted nearly every corner of the known world. While many instances of this movement saw war erupt, others were relatively peaceful and integrated well into their new homes, bringing with them their innovative technologies and knowledge. As a result of populating so many distant lands, their sense of culture and identity is varied based on their location, which caused their overall sense of identity to be lost. This led to the Hyur valuing freedom over tradition, as opposed to other races. Historically, the languages spoken by the Hyur were just as diverse, but in time they developed a more universal tongue, known simply as the Common Tongue. There is evidence to support that Huron priests spread their Eorzean alphabet during the final years of the Fourth Astral Era, but due to the nature of that calamity, details have been lost with time. The common clothing preferred by the Hyur often entailed cotton with leather fixings to create simple yet functional designs. They also favor long boots, which is believed to derive from their ancestors' time in the snowy mountains and plains of Eorzean. The Hyur have several categories, depending on where they're from, but the most notable clans are the Midlanders and Highlanders, with the ethereal Padjal existing as a subspecies. Midlanders make up over half of all existing Hyur. They can be found in almost every city in the world, and are highly revered for their ingenuity. They contribute to countless trades and vocations, making up for their lack of physical prowess. Many of history's greatest inventors and innovators have been Midlander, and most learn letters from a very young age, which contributes to a healthy field of academics. They are physically much smaller than their Highlander cousins, with men exceeding 72 ilms viewed as quite large, with the tallest women barely reaching 67 ilms. Though when compared to some of the other races, they are of average build and physique. They have a keen aptitude for magic, especially teleportation magics. Their names are words composed in the common tongue, often referring to their vocations or homes, such as baker, miller, or fisher. Their first names are often reminiscent of medieval Europe, wherever that is, but just like their surnames, their names are dependent on the region they reside in, and that culture's linguistics. Examples are how the Hyur of the Far East favor Asian-inspired monikers, those in Thavnir are privy to Indian, and the Tanawauta of Tyrol in the New World are based on Native American conventions. The Midlanders are one of the most adaptable races in the world, often adopting and refining existing knowledge. One example is of a Midlander culinarian who had created bouillabaisse, which was inspired by the stews crafted from the sea wolf fishermen. With their gift of letters, Midlanders have made several notable contributions to literature, and even the fine arts. In fact, it was Midlanders who were the first to display perspective techniques in their artwork. Highlanders are primarily located in Gridania and Thanalan. The Highlanders excel in physical prowess compared to their Midlander brethren. Their sheer size far outstretches the Midlanders, growing nearly as tall as 80 ilms. It's believed their physiology is a result of generations in harsh mountain climates with thin air and dangerous environments. Like Midlander, their names are rooted in the common tongue, but instead inspired from the many events that might take place on a war-torn battlefield, with inspirations from Germanic or Norman roots. They share similarities to the northern dialects, often similar to Seawolf Rogadin. Bastard son of a sea-wolf is an insult you might hear during a bar brawl, and you can be sure it'll be met with violent consequences. They are a spiritual people, often equipped with wooden talismans hewn into their underclothes and tattoos on their body. They often dine on simple yet impressive dishes of outgoat steak or some other meat. Overcooking in a Highlander's kitchen can be seen as taboo, leaving many others to view them as raw meat eaters. They are descended from the people who followed the stars to the mountains of Gridania in the wake of the 6th Umbral Calamity, where they founded the city-state of Alamigo. It was a bastion of military might, until it came under Garlean rule 20 years past. Many stayed behind, living under the abusive rule of the Garleans, while others sought freedom elsewhere, living as refugees in Thanalan and putting their skills to use as sellswords or gladiators. Padjals came into being around 1077 or so, when the conjurer Jorn Lightheart, who had been the first to successfully commune with the elementals, bore a child with his wife. Their son had 2 small bumps that eventually grew into horns, and the child himself ceased to age. They found he was able to predict natural events, and after more time passed, he adopted the name Iohok Hota. Soon, another child was born, named Yu Kote Num, and the children were given the name Padjal, a horned subspecies of Hyur, blessed by the elementals of the wood. Their physiological differences are most notably the horns, their immediate attunement to conjury, the fact that they can commune directly with the elementals, and their stores of vast amounts of ether. Their age begins to crawl at some point, though that point is different for each Padjal. Some might perpetually be seen as a preteen, such as Sumi Yan, while others, like Kani Senna, might appear in their 20s. Padjal have been known to live close to 200 years before succumbing to old age, with their appearances still appearing youthful even then. Padjali hold positions of power and respect in Gridania due to their connection with the elementals. The position of Eldered Seer was created by them, and is retained by a Padjali to this day. The elementals have allowed the Padjal to be the sole wielders of white magic, with the intention of keeping the art alive, and not misused. They are also often members of the Conjurers Guild, with the elementals allowing them to teach conjury to others. When a child is born and confirmed to be Padjal, they are taken to the Conjurers Guild and made to live at Stillglade Fane, where they take on a new name given by the elementals. Many parents are proud to have Padjals born into the family. However, there have been instances where families and parents are unwilling to give their children up, rightfully so. Though Gridanian law states, the conjurers reserve the right to take their children against their wishes. Padjal are regularly referred to as sisters and brothers of the Twelveswood, as part of the training at Stillglade Fane, and the Padjali language is based on the sounds made by the etheric waves they hear when the elementals speak to them. This language is also used for certain locations and creatures of Gelmoran origin, despite them coming later, as well as families in Gridania. The naming conventions for Padjali dictate that all are comprised of 3 words, with the first 2 as the forename and the last as the surname. The first name is constructed of simple vowel-based words, A, E, I, etc., combined with a longer companion word. In males, the vowel-based word comes first, while in females, it comes second. Words in Padjali are normally separate but spaces, but for groups of words that form a single concept, such as a proper noun or compound word, they are separated by hyphens. Several older Hyur families that regularly produce Padjali children, such as the Senna, Yan, and Pesi, have their names rooted in Padjali language, and when a child is born, they are given a traditional Hyur name until confirmed to be Padjali, in which it is changed. The elementals themselves, such as Oasak, have names in Padjali. Now, for the next few sections we'll be covering areas of the game that may contain spoilers. As far as the Midlanders, Highlanders, and Padjal are concerned, that information has already been covered. Everything from here is not 100% necessary to the knowledge, so don't feel bad if you're unable to watch the next segments. Feel free to come back and take a gander once you've reached the requisite sections though. The next section covers content that would be from Shadowbringers, or 5.0, and is available right away. If you wish to avoid spoilers, I'll see you in the finale. Humes and Norvran are similar to the Hyur in their behavior and physiology. Their naming conventions differ slightly, however. They were once possessed of a wide range of names, but most of the Humes that remain were once allied with elves. As a result of cultural intermingling over the years, their cultures blended into an almost identical method of naming. Surnames combine the old words for ancestral lands with those describing traditional social castes or occupations. Hillfist, for example, could be traced back to a soldier, Fist, who lived in the hills, Hill. The primary difference between humans and elves in their naming is that many elves descend from Lakeland, and thus their surnames often contain lake. The Humes' history is sparse, but it is well known that they were accepted as one of the few races that walked the streets of the Ronkan Empire thousands of years ago. When the empire fell, the Humes were dispersed, eventually settling in the deserts of Amarang, where they grew and shared their trade until the Flood of Light. Now, the next section contains spoilers in accordance with Dawntrail or 7.0. The content within is information that is available from the 7.0 quest, A Day in the Life, and is not advised to be heard until you have completed that quest or further. If you wish to avoid spoilers, I'll see you in the finale. Now, the Hyur that exist within Alexandria are a mix of the Tanawauta and their native Hyur. Their native Hyur, that is to say those who come from Alexandria and, in turn, the Ninth Reflection, are very similar to the Hyur of the Source. Those in Alexandria and the Ninth refer to them as Humes, and their direct historical lore is still something we don't have a full grasp on. However, we do know that their naming conventions often interchange the use of minerals and emotions, or time and memory-based concepts, such as sphen and nostalgia. Hopefully with more time, new histories will be uncovered, but for now, we're left to wonder just what kinds of lives these people may have led. The Hyur are above and beyond when it comes to population and the ability to mold into their environment. They are resilient, strong, intelligent, and diverse, with its citizens reaching every corner of the star. So, if you find yourself with a file of Fantasia, or opening your eyes to the world of Eorzean for the first time, I hope you can do so with a sense of pride and excitement, for an incredible world waits for you to join that ever-growing tapestry, and I, for one, can't wait to meet you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to firstly give a shout out to DragonWing7293 for being the first to correctly guess I'd be covering the lore of the Hyur in this video. Thanks so much for your efforts. We recently hit 2,000 subscribers and are steadily growing still. I can't thank you enough for the love and support. So if you could, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we can work together to bring this kind of content to others who might be looking for it. I've also recently launched a brand new Discord channel. The link is in the description below. There's plenty of things to do there, such as meet up with people who like to roleplay, play content, talk about lore, or even share a meme or two. I'd love to see you there, so stop on by and let's hang out. I'm sure you've also noticed what's going on behind me. Well, the first person who can guess what I'm planning on covering next, I'll give you a shout out in the next video. Until then, this has been the Eorzean Historian, signing off until our next great adventure. Ciao for now!